In my college years, I made the decision to move to Houston to pursue my education. It was an exciting time, and I was eager to embark on this new chapter of my life. To make things easier, I decided to rent a house for myself. Little did I know that this decision would lead to a series of bizarre and unsettling events. The house I found was surprisingly affordable, which was a relief for a college student on a budget like me. I moved in and settled down, and soon enough, I met someone from school named Alex. We hit it off and quickly became friends. Alex was a fellow student who was outgoing, friendly, and had a great sense of humor. We shared a lot in common, and our personalities seemed to complement each other. One of the interesting twists was that both of our names were Alexander, but he preferred to be called Alex to avoid confusion. We laughed about it and found it amusing to share such a similarity in our names. Alex was male, like me, and we seemed to connect on a deeper level than just being college buddies. As time went on, I began to notice some peculiar behavior from Alex. At night, he would wake up and move around the house, seemingly watching me. During the day, he acted completely normal, just like any other friend. But at night, his behavior became eerie and unsettling. I brushed it off at first, thinking maybe he was just adjusting to his new environment or dealing with stress in an unusual way. However, as the nights went on, the feeling of unease grew stronger. I couldn't shake the sensation that I was being watched and monitored. I began to feel trapped and uncomfortable in my own home. Finally, I reached a breaking point and decided to call the landlord to explain the situation. I told the landlord that I couldn't handle it anymore and that I would be moving out. Surprisingly, I even said that Alex could stay in the house if he wanted to. The landlord's response was shocking. He calmly told me that there was no one named Alex living in the house and that I was the sole tenant. Confusion and fear gripped me as I processed what he had said. It was then that I realized something was seriously wrong. The person I had been interacting with, the person who had been watching me at night, was not real. Alex was a creation of my own mind. It was a difficult truth to accept, but it explained the bizarre events that had been unfolding. I had been experiencing hallucinations, and the line between reality and my imagination had blurred. The realization hit me like a ton of bricks. I was suffering from schizophrenia. The years passed, and even though I sought treatment and tried to manage my condition, I still occasionally saw Alex on those haunting nights. Schizophrenia continued to be a part of my life, a challenge that I faced with the help of therapy and medication. I learned to distinguish between reality and delusion, but the memory of those events still lingers. The experience taught me the fragility of the mind and the importance of seeking help when faced with mental health issues. And though Alex never truly existed, he remains a haunting reminder of the depths of my own psyche. My name is Henry, and I have recently decided to rent out a spare room in my house to make some extra money. I posted an ad on Craigslist, and soon enough, I found a potential tenant named Ethan. He seemed like a friendly and normal guy, so I agreed to rent the room to him. At first, things were going well between Ethan and me. We got along fine, shared a few conversations, and he even helped out with some household chores. I felt fortunate to have found a... My name is Henry, and I have recently decided to rent out a spare room in my house to make some extra money. My name is Henry, and I have recently decided to rent out a spare room in my house to make some extra money. I posted an ad on Craigslist, and soon enough, I found a potential tenant named Ethan. He seemed like a friendly and normal guy, so I agreed to rent the room to him. At first, things were going well between Ethan and me. We got along fine, shared a few conversations, and he even helped out with some household chores. I felt fortunate to have found a roommate who was easy to get along with. However, after a few nights, strange and unsettling events began to unfold. It started with little things, objects moved or misplaced, odd noises in the middle of the night, but then it escalated into something much more disturbing. One night, as I was passing by Ethan's room, I saw something that sent shivers down my spine. Ethan was walking around his room, but his feet were facing backward, as if he was walking on his heels. The sight was so unnerving that I couldn't believe my eyes. I stood frozen in fear, unable to process what I was witnessing. Terrified and unsure of what to do, I hurried back to my own room and locked the door. My mind raced as I considered my options. I knew I needed to call the police, but I also realized that the main doors of the house were locked, trapping me inside with whatever was happening. My heart pounded in my chest as I dialed 911 and explained the situation to the dispatcher. While waiting for the police to arrive, I locked myself in my bedroom, my mind racing with thoughts of what could be happening in my house. When the police finally arrived, I nervously guided them through the house to Ethan's room. But to my shock and horror, he wasn't there. It was as if he had vanished into thin air. The police questioned me about Ethan and the situation, and it became clear that there was no record of any person by that name who had ever lived there. Confusion and fear clouded my thoughts. Who had I been living with? What was the truth behind Ethan's bizarre behavior? As the days went by, I couldn't shake the feeling that I had encountered something far more sinister than a mere human tenant. The events that transpired in my house were beyond explanation. Someone walking on their heels, a person disappearing without a trace, and the realization that I had likely been interacting with a complete stranger from the start. I struggled to come to terms with what I had experienced. The sense of unease lingered, and I found myself questioning my own sanity. Was I losing my mind? Or had I truly encountered something supernatural or otherworldly? Looking back, I can't fully comprehend the events that unfolded during that time. The memories still haunt me, and the questions remain unanswered. All I know is that what happened in my house went beyond the realm of the ordinary, leaving me with a chilling reminder of the darkness that can exist within the seemingly ordinary spaces we call home.